It's not about what you know. It's not about who you know. It's about who knows you. You could have quit years ago, and maybe you should have quit years ago. That's just not your personality, right? Realtors, 50% of all realtors in their first year fail, and 87% of all realtors fail by their fifth year. If we could change that number from 13% to 14%. I used to coach people all the time, and I think the biggest accountability partner you can possibly have are your kids.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the I Am Vols podcast. And as I promised, Vols is going to be bringing you the best of the best and the best information for business entrepreneurship and personal experiences. We're going to concentrate on topics that are going to make you money, change your life today. And who better to do that than my own friend, personal mentor, and guest today, Lance. Thank you very much, brother.
Hey, buddy. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. This is awesome.
I have this wrestling introduction, just for you. And now coming in about 160
Where's
pounds.
my intro music, man?
Yeah, right? Well, that
I
was
wish
post-production.
160 pounds and hair and no gray beard. How do I get that?
The living legend.
Man.
I'm glad that you're here with us because I've been inviting you for a while. So thank you very much for making it.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Lance Billingsley. I'm Vice President of Development for Navi Title. I have been in the industry 20 plus years. I'm a licensed instructor. I'm chairperson for our MLS here in our regional here in Phoenix area. Host a show called 13% Podcast, trying to finish a book. I've ran mega teams. I've run my own brokerage, run my own team, launched Zillow initiatives nationwide, all kinds of stuff, man. None of that. I hate reading my resume, for the record.
Absolutely. But, it's important, especially right now, because we just did an event called Thriving in This Economy, right? And right now, it's the best time to let people know the good information of how they can better their business, strategize correctly, don't commit a lot of mistakes, right? And learn from personal experiences for other people.
Yeah.
So, brother, you are, in my career, one of the best mentors that I've ever seen.
Yeah. And you're a good friend. I've always been there to help you guys and want to.
100%.
Anytime I can, my phone's always on for you guys.
100%. And for those who don't know, Lance, actually, when we started the real estate team, we came to him for mentorship. He slapped me and Hector around a couple of times, kind of picked up on the bad habits that we had, and we learned a lot. We implemented what he taught us, and it made such a big difference on what we're doing and how we're evolving today.
Yeah.
But before we even go in there, I want to know a little bit more about your experience personally on this journey, on this growth from being where we started to where you are now.
Yeah. We met when we launched Navi, right?
Yes.
We launched Navi in 2021, coming out of the pandemic. I had been running a mega team. I had about 70 agents that worked. They never worked for me, but worked with me, Hector being one of them. And the opportunity came to just kind of launch something new. And the company came to me and said, we would like to create a position that doesn't exist. And that position is basically we would like a consultant or a coach, for lack of a better term, that will go out to all of our clients and basically help them whether they want to scale or they want to grow or they want to make more money or they want to eliminate people or whatever it is, their systems. And I went, all right, let's do something new. We launched in 2021, and as of right now, we're number one in the market. We have become a pretty dominant market shareholder, and we've launched in San Antonio. There's got 3 other states that we're looking at for the rest of the year. About 120 employees, and at the beginning, it was the owner and me. So we've come a long way. And meeting with you guys I was sent out to basically just scrap, right? How do I find things? How do I find people that could use our services or use my services? And meeting with you and Hector and Juan back in the day and those guys and your team when you were kind of up and down on what you guys wanted to do. You were starting in the wholesale thing really I got wholesale and then I'm going to give away retail leads and now what do we do about that? And that conversation kind of springboarded our friendship. And 4 years later, we're sitting here doing shows, and
Exactly.
and we still have the same hairline. We still
look good.
We still look good. We still look good.
We look younger than 4 years ago.
We appreciate you. But yeah, we've both grown in our own, and I've been able to do a whole lot of things at the national level and the state level that I'm blessed, man. I have the coolest job in real estate in the state of Arizona, and I don't care what anybody says.
Absolutely. And I do want to give notice to all of our listeners that Lance has his own podcast. You want to tell us a little bit about your podcast and what is it about?
Yeah, the 13% podcast. It was I was kind of tasked by what's called We Serve, which is sixth largest association in the country, but they're the largest in Arizona, and their CEO and I are very close. And the conversation was, we'd like to have a show. And I said, well, okay, let me think of what we want to do. And then decided 13%. When people always go, what's that mean? Mm-hmm. According to the NAR, National Association of Realtors, 50% of all realtors in their first year fail, and 87% of all realtors fail by their fifth year. And what I decided to do, I actually put out a post that said, hey, why do people fail in real estate? I knew those answers, but I was inundated with hundreds of responses of not enough leads, not a good leadership, signed with the wrong team, didn't know what they were doing. All those things are why people fail. And I think why people fail is a lot easier than why do people succeed. And I could have just gone, we could have called it to 87% and went, you're going to fail. You're always going to fail. The data says you're going to fail, and here's why you're going to fail, right? Instead of doing that, we decided, all right, who do I know at the high level locally, but even more importantly at the national level, who do I know that we can talk to that's made it? So I dug deep into my what would be the old school Rolodex, but in my phone, and went, all right, let's talk about the positive. If we could change that number from 13% to 14%, right? If we could just, how many people could we impact, and how many futures and future family members could we impact if we just went, hey, you're struggling, I get it. Mm-hmm. But here's some people who have struggled and been through the fight and been through the trenches, and here's what they've done. So we've had the largest marketers in the country. We've had the largest AI. We had the futurist of Google on our show, who is Google and Intel send him out around the world at $10,000 an hour to help people understand AI. And he came on my show for free. We've had presidents and CEOs of Who's Who and Company. President of the National Association of Realtors is just booked. He's on in our next couple episodes. So instead of talking about why you lose and why you fail, let's talk about why people succeed. And if you can pick up one sliver from that, then how much does that help you grow your business?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that makes a big difference, right? Because the mindset that you're bringing into the podcast and the message, it comes in all the way from the beginning, the title, right? As somebody that is in the real estate industry actively, and I have bet a lot of hours, money, time of my life to be able to do a good job in serving the clients and building a team. And I never came in with a mindset of being a realtor. That's what was different for me. When I got started in real estate, I was already doing lead generation. So my thought was, okay,
I remember.
What if
this is easy?
Yeah. Oh, this is easy.
It's gonna be easy.
All I gotta do is get my license, right? And then start sending leads out, and they're gonna get closed, and I make all this referral money all day.
And then 2021 happened.
COVID happened.
And COVID happened. 2021, the market changed. In 2022, rates changed. And I'll look at last year. Last year, we sold fewer homes in the United States than we have in the last 35 years. And right now, you're on pace to sell fewer than that.
Correct.
So, I mean, it's not an easy gig, man. And that's the reason people fail, right? Is you could have quit years ago, and maybe you should have quit years ago. That's just not your personality, right?
Correct.
You and Hector don't have that gene. But could you? Financially, there were some times that you just go, man, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we did have those conversations. Right? It was, being completely open, especially to our audience. There was times in the last 4 years where we were doing good, we're doing great. We were running investment properties, we were doing hoteling, traditional deals, listings. We had a really good strategy. We almost had like a 99% closing or contract rate. When we went to listings, we would be like, look, this is how much we could buy your house for you, but this is how much you could put it on the market. Right. So people would sign one of both
options. Yeah.
And we had those appointments, we have more appointments than what we could handle. then everything changed.
Yeah.
It was like somebody turned off the water.
Yep.
We hit a brick wall, and all of a sudden we started noticing all the excess money that we were spending.
Yep.
We had 40 employees. We have 40 dialers.
Who all became needy, who all need, now they're not making what they're used to making. They're working extra hours for less pay.
Correct.
Yeah. And you're in an industry, we are in an industry, I mean, I'm still a broker in the state, is every day you wake up unemployed.
That is so true.
Every day. Like, try and find that anywhere in any industry outside of, extreme sales, right?
Yeah.
But every other business, I know that I have money coming. But the second you close a deal and you don't have one on the docket, you're unemployed.
Exactly.
And you got to go home and look your kids and your wife or your spouse in the eye.
And tell them that everything's going to be okay.
It's all going to be all right. Don't worry about it. I don't have any money coming in. And this is going to be a pretty hard month. Maybe we should eat ramen for a minute instead of going out to Steak 44. But I mean, that's an industry that until you're able to, like, mindset is one thing. I've kind of switched off mindset, and I've kind of changed to how do you set your mind.
Oh,
right. If my mindset is to get better tomorrow, what's that mean? Like, if my mindset is to spend more time, if I go, I'm going to do 15 push-ups today, and I'm going to have my mindset to get better tomorrow. Well, 16's better.
correct.
But if I show up in 5 days from now and do 30, is that better? I don't know. What happened to the 4 days in between, right? So how do I set my mind to know this is an industry you're built to fail? If there's no business anywhere in the industry, anywhere, find me a school or anything that at 87% of them fail.
87%.
You couldn't. It's not a sustainable business. Imagine you ran a car business. You ran Chevrolet, and 87% of all the cars failed. Or you ran a college where 87% of all the students failed. Like, it's built for failure, right?
Yeah.
And it's an industry of turnover. So if you don't set your mind to go, I have to grind every day doing the same process every single day, mindset means nothing.
Absolutely.
And mindset's so general, and the word has been worn out.
And it's a cliche,
frankly.
right? Some people, now it's trending, and people use it more as a clickbait than true value.
Well, go search on Audible or go search on Amazon for just the word mindset. How many books can there possibly be written on it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So I've kind of moved off that, even though we talk about it all the time, and we talk about it on the show all the time, and people still bring it up. But it's more of, I need to set my mind to know this is a business I fail.
Absolutely.
And until I understand, here's a perfect example, folks, is your mind is built to protect you, right? If I said, Vo, stand up and run into that wall, you would go, no, I'm not going to do that. It's going to hurt. If I said, Vo, go run into that wall for $10,000, your next question would be, well, how hard? Right? How fast?
You know me too well.
I know you, brother. And you say in Spanish as you're running into it, for crying out loud. So it like, if your mind is built to protect you in an industry that you fail, you have people that make calls and
Absolutely.
make calls and make calls and make calls, and all day long they're told no. Or maybe they're cursed at, or maybe they're said,
oh, yeah,
I can't stand you.
It's brutal.
Whatever it is. How do you wake up tomorrow and do it again? Right? Your mind is going, no, I don't want to do this anymore. Don't go do that. That's hard. Go back to the W-2 job that we knew that we made $12-15 an hour, and but we had stability.
And you were safe.
And I didn't have anything. I didn't even have us safe to put any money in because I didn't have any. But you're in an industry where there is no ceiling. There is no ceiling on how much you can make, how much time you can save, what you can do with your family, what generational wealth you can build. But the floor is very, very far down.
Yes.
And if your mind goes, don't do this, don't do this, don't do it, and you go, I'm not going to do this anymore, that's the foundation of the 13% for me, man.
And I'm going to share something very personal with you, right? Because people make fun of me, like, oh man, you've done it all.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, and I used to take that in a bad way, like, okay, like, are you trying to make fun of me, or like?
Yeah.
But then I started taking pride in it. I'm like, when the people tell me, like, oh man, you do it all. Yes, almost everything except go hungry.
Yeah.
One of the I had two personal experiences I would like to share with you real quick. Once in my life, I was told by a significant other, I want to be with somebody that is going to go to work, come back home and just be with me.
Yeah.
Not making calls, not hustling, not trying to do this and trying to do that and be all over the place. And, I just want to go. I just want to be with somebody that is going to go to work, come back, and just be with me. So I had to choose between my kid and that person and who I am. Right? Because it's no longer what I do.
Yeah.
I tell this to people. One of my friends shared it yesterday, and it's a quote that I say to myself all the time. It's not what I do, it's who I am. It's who I am. And fast forward many years later, and a couple of marriages later, fast forward later,
you finally married
with
smart.
my wife.
Yeah,
with my wife.
Take your nonsense.
She not at all.
No.
I asked her word about going through hard times and people. You're making all this money. I'm like, yeah, but you don't know what my overhead is.
Right.
Like payroll needs to be covered first. Like all the expenses need to be covered first. In order to keep the operation going, and then I'm trying to make some money. We're trying to survive in some money. And I walk up to my wife, and I asked her, babe, do you ever worry about how I'm going to cover the bills?
Yeah.
How am I going to cover the mortgage?
But you're naturally a grinder.
Yeah.
Like you'll adapt or die. I mean, and if it's not real estate, you would pivot to something else. You'd fall back to DJing if you had to.
Absolutely.
Like you go, hey man, I just got to go find some jams. There's a point that you said in there though is I didn't mean to interrupt your story.
No. Go ahead.
There's a point in there that people go, I want to make this much money. Right, and whatever that much is, if it's $100,000 or $500,000 or $1 million a year, and my experience is with people when I've had agents and hundreds of agents that have worked for me, and even more that I've coached through the years, right? And they always kind of have the same set numbers. How many deals do you want to do this year? 12. Well, that's easy math. Or 24 or 36 because I can do the math. I can do 3 times 12 is 30, right? And they always want to make $100,000. Always. I've never had anybody walk in and go, I want to make $500,000 this year. They always go, I just want to make $100,000.
Yep.
But when you have someone that goes, you've made money or you've done well, what they don't understand is what it took to get to that spot. But what is different though is I can say I grinded in my mindset or set my mind and all those fancy things. If you want to make $300,000 a year, that's more. You're a 1% person in the world. If you make $300,000 a year, until you have the mindset, we'll use that word. Until you have the mindset of a person who makes $300,000 a year, you'll never make $300,000 a year.
Let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
Until you set your mind to the one of a person that makes $300,000 a year, you will never make $300,000 a year.
Do you think the person who makes $300,000 a year doesn't show up to work, and they don't show up because their kids have summer school, or their kids have a sore throat and they've got to stay home for a week? You think the person who makes $300,000 a year just doesn't do the things that have to happen?
Absolutely.
And when their mind goes, don't do this, this is hard. The person that makes $300,000 a year goes, I'm not listening to you. I know what I'm doing. And I'm just going to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. Let's do the push-ups again. I don't have to do 16 more tomorrow. You know what I have to do? 15. That's why I started with today.
Consistency.
The next day do 15. The next day do 15. Then 15. And then you're going to wake up 100 days from now. You're going to feel better. You're going to look better. But more importantly is your mind will go, what are you doing? It's time to do your push-ups.
Yes. And you know what? For me, the push-ups and the workout became, and when I've shown my wife this grind and this hustle before I even asked her this question, that she looked at me and she said, babe, I understand that what we do is commission-based. And anytime we can not have money for anything.
Yeah.
However, I'm never worried. Because I know you got this.
Right.
Oh my God, Lance, let me tell you that I'd never felt like that. It was the very first time in my life that I felt like something like unlocked like inside of me. Something like all of a sudden all my fears with those words, not from inside, but from somebody external just unlocked.
But you know what word kicks in then? It takes you back to your parents. The word disappointment kicks in, right? If your wife goes, I believe in you, or your business partner, or your best friend goes, I believe in you, we got this. I know you're going to adapt. you can't disappoint them.
That is so true.
You can't, because you know if you don't go to work, it's disappointment. If you don't, it's not the matter of the money. The money is, if you do the right thing in this industry, if you do the right thing and you work hard, real estate's the easiest math problem in the history of math, right? Do this plus this plus this and you will make that. That's it. It's super easy, right?
Yes.
Talk to 100 people to convert 3.
Exactly.
If I can talk to 200, I can convert 6, and 300 converts 9, and now I'm making 6 figures. It's the easiest math problem in the world. But if someone goes, I don't want you to go do that, you can't disappoint them. You can just make them mad. Like, think about that, right? If your business partner went, we can't do that, your mind now starts to go, oh, that's now a rule. That now became a rule. We can't do that. And then it turns into a law where you go, people like me can't do it.
Yeah, it's actually on one of my favorite books is the 4 Agreements. The 4 Agreements is for me is one of the greatest books because it talks about our cause and effect and our power of words, right? And how we literally cast a spell on anything. So ever since I learned that, Lance, I'm very careful about what I say to my kids, especially
don't
because
disappoint them.
And we come from this generational bad habits of like saying things in a certain way that we don't know that we're casting that limiting spell in the people that we love unintentionally a lot of times. And for me, having that experience, it really opened up. And ever since then, you're right. I'm going out here and I'm literally giving it my 100%, no matter what. My 100% to this podcast, to today, to the cold calls. I'm still doing cold calls. And now, not so much out of necessity because we have people that convert cold to warm, but it sharpens the iron.
Right.
I call and I no longer make cold calls to convert a sale. I make cold calls to be a relationship, to be a resource for people. You know, it's and I love the best ones that they answer and they tell me what cuss me out. They have the time to cuss me out, tell me all their frustrations, yell at me, but they don't hang up.
Yep.
And as long as they don't hang up, I still got a chance. One of my favorite ones is like, oh, I'm so sorry, Lance. You thought I was a cold dialer? You thought, oh, you get those calls too? Yeah. Oh, you cash offer for your house? Oh, I get those calls too, man. I get them like 50 times a day. And let me tell you, I'm so freaking, and I sometimes I curse.
My name is Vols,
along
not
with them.
spam.
Exactly, my name is Vols.
Not spam.
And I was like, I'm sorry that I can see how every call that you don't know might get confused with a spam. However, this is my cell phone number.
But it's going back to what we're talking about in the industry. Is I used to coach people all the time, and I think the biggest accountability partner you can possibly have are your kids.
Oh,
I had a guy that I coached who said, I want to make this by this. And I said, here's what your plan is going to do. You're going to go home today and you're going to tell your kids, if I don't make this by July 1st, we're not going to Disneyland. Guess who every day when he gets home is the first person to go, how'd you do today? Did you make any sales today? Get any that becomes accountability because now it's that word of disappointment. I don't want to disappoint them. If they went, dude, hey man, I don't know what dad does. How many kids out there go, I don't know. My kids are like, I don't know what dad does. I just know he talks to a lot of people all the time. And he's out there doing what he does, right? But find that accountability piece so when your mind goes, you can't do it, someone else goes, yes, you can. Someone else goes, we got this. This is easy. We've done this forever. So
that is so powerful, Lance. That is so powerful. That's a great strategy. Yeah. And one of the things that I learned with you, and then now I coach a lot. I've been having the blessing, people inviting me to talk and different events, and I always credit people, and I go back to keep it simple, right? Keep it simple. That's so powerful. You want somebody to keep you accountable. Yeah, that is a great strategy.
Who's the most impactful person in your life that if you disappointed them, it would take you back to being 8 years old? Right?
Yeah.
Like the worst thing you could do with your dad as a young boy is disappoint dad.
Yes.
It wasn't, I'm going to spank you or I'm going to ground you. It was, I'm just disappointment. I'm just disappointed in you. And that was powerful as a kid. And every young boy that's now a man remembers every time that happened.
Yes.
So find that in your life, right? Forget mindset, man. My mind is about me.
Yep.
I need someone to set my mind for me. I need someone to be the switch that goes, man, so you didn't get any deals today? That's okay. Go back and do it tomorrow. You didn't get any deals today? Hey, the guy who makes $300,000, he went to work today. He didn't make any money. He'll make money tomorrow. Get up and go to work. Go do what you do. You're not going to fail us. Then when you disappoint them, then it becomes that gut punch. It's not about the money. By the way, your kids will never go, how much money did you make this year?
No.
Ever. Find me that kid, man. And that's a messed up kid. If a kid goes, how much money does dad make? I don't know how much dad makes. I have no idea. I just know he goes to work every day and comes home and hangs with me. Yeah, good stuff.
No, and that's a very powerful point, because you bring up so many good points on that, right? That our accountability to the people that matter the most. It brings us back to identifying our why. And one of the things that we need to change, especially if we want to be successful, is, I believe, number one, define what success means to you, which is something that you told us. Like, when we started our mentorship with you, one of the first sessions, you said, what is it that you guys want to accomplish?
Yeah, what's this look like?
I was like, we want to be successful. That was our answer. It's like, well, what is that?
I want to be 6'2" and shooting free throws in an NBA game. But I don't know what that means. Right?
Exactly.
I want to be successful. It's like saying, I think, like, I want to be happy. What's that mean? I don't know what that means. I have no idea what that means. I could leave here and be, man, in the greatest mood and not get to my car because there's a flat tire, and now I'm not happy. I mean, it's just such a silly 50,000 foot word.
It is.
Like, I want to be successful. What's that mean?
Yep, and let's define it, right? Once we defined it, we were able to set up metrics. We set up what our process was. Okay, you want to be successful in what?
And you fought that for a long time, man. It was just, I'm just going to work hard and be successful, because that worked. But it doesn't work necessarily in real estate.
No, it didn't. It didn't work.
Real estate is not, I learned that, it took me almost 50 years of my life to learn it, and almost 20 years of being in the industry to learn it. Real estate is not about what you know. And the next person that's listening to this is going to go, yeah, it's about who you know. No, it's not. It's not about what you know. It's not about who you know. It's about who knows you. Because I know Voss, and he does all these things. But if he doesn't say my name to other people, then the relationship is one way. Right? We were talking off camera about,
absolutely.
I'm giving you a business-to-business relationship. I give and give and give, but never did I ever ask for anything. Right? And build a team. You've built your team. That's another thing in reading and just listen to really good TED Talks and podcasts. Whatever you guys listen to, find something that sets your mind. But we all think, if you took 100 people and go, are you a giver or a taker? 100 people go, I'm a giver. No one wants to be a taker.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
they feel like the bad guy, right?
I don't want to say, all I want to do is take. Like, no one says that. But I can't build a real estate team. I can't build an industry. I can't build a future until I have some takers on the squad.
Absolutely.
Right? Because if I have 10 people who are givers and all they do is give and give and give, that means none of them are bringing in money.
Absolutely.
Nobody's making any money, because all they did all day is here's what they did, and you would know this feeling. They got up at 6 in the morning, they came home at 6 in the afternoon, and they're exhausted, and they don't know what the hell they did that day.
Yep.
Right?
They can't tell you.
I am
one
wiped out.
thing.
Well, what'd you do today? I don't know. I just ran all day and I'm tired. That's give. And I walk into your bank and go, I just would like to give. And they're going to go, give to what? What do you want to give us? Right? So I think it's understanding, back to the learning how to handle failure and fixing your mind with an accountability piece or something that changes that. But then I have to go into it with the idea of, what I did yesterday may not work today, but as long as I'm doing it, I'm doing it.
And that brings me up to a question I've always wanted to ask, brother, because we always have a chance, and you care about us so much as friends, and we owe a lot to you as our growth, that we always kind of go into talking about business. But what's one of your personal biggest challenges that you had to overcome in business?
At which part, though?
At yourself.
I've had probably 4 really good real estate careers.
Correct.
Like if someone went, I just did that, it would have been a great career for them. And I'm blessed to have done a few different things. But
so let's go back to the beginning, right?
Yeah.
With the beginning, what was your first venture in real estate?
Let's go back to the late 90s. I actually started a sports memorabilia consignment business back in the 90s. So I sold other people's baseball cards and autographs and things. My timing was perfect because I had Jordan and I had Mark McGwire and I had a little baseball card shop doing $350,000 a year in sales. Ridiculous numbers for 1996, 97. Guy walked in one day with his wife and said, "We'd like to buy your business." And I said, "Not a chance." I was going through a divorce. "Not a chance. I need this job." He went, "But will you take this?" And I went, "I guess I'm out of here in 30 days. So I took.
So we're not that different.
No, I'm as greedy as you, buddy. So took it and went, "Now what do I do?" So I spent like 5 months just traveling around the country, going to see buddies, and just like I've never seen San Francisco and Los Angeles and Chicago and Dallas and Miami. And I had this money. I was like, I'm single. I'm going to go live. And I'll never forget, I was sitting in the San Francisco airport with my aunt, and she said, "What are you going to do now?" "I don't know." I go, "I think this is 2001. The planes have just hit the building, and I'm on my way to New York for Christmas after 9/11, and I'm sitting in the airport of San Francisco, and my aunt goes, "You should get into real estate." I went, "Yeah, but the planes hit the building, and everybody's putting their money under their mattress, and they're taking it out of the banks because we're all going to die." That's what people thought. "Why would I get into real estate?" She goes, No, don't get into real estate. Go be a real estate appraiser." And I don't even know what that means. I don't know what that is. Did some research, U.S. News and World Report, other than being a nurse, it was the most desirable job in the United States back in 2001. And I went, all right, let's try it. So took my classes. I got blessed with finding the right guy who taught me. And in the southeast of Maricopa County, which is Queen Creek and Apache Junction and Santan Heights, I appraised every bit of 50% of those new build construction homes in 2001 till 2009. And it was me and another dude. And we were billing out at $300 a report. We were billing out $400,000 a year. That's how much business I was doing. And that got me going. Then the crash hit of 2008. There was nothing to appraise. So I'm much like you in this. I'm like, now what do I do? So I left where I was at and decided I went and at the time there was a company called Phillips and Associates, which did bankruptcy advertising at that time, and which would have been 2008, 9, 10. They were doing advertising every 30 seconds on television. I knocked on their door and said, "Hey, I'd like to do appraisals for you." And I could have done 50 a day if I wanted to. So did that to grind, and then figured out one day I need to get into real estate and went and got my license. Had nothing to sell, had nothing to do other than I was doing bankruptcy appraisals. And a funny story, a lot of people don't know about it. In my show, I have a part called Who's in Your Front Row?
Ooh.
And it goes back actually to a faith-based poem. And whether you believe in whatever your faith is, right? And we ask every guest on every episode of my show, no matter how big they are. And yesterday, one of the guests I asked, his answer was Jerry Garcia was one of his people. And here's what Who's in Your Front Row means is, if I was going to put on the movie of Lance's professional life, okay, and I was going to fill the auditorium, and I was going to take my kids, and I was going to take my father and put those people in the back room, right? They're already in the green room. Not everybody can sit in the front. Some people have to sit in the balcony. Some people are sitting in standing room only. They're just there to watch. But who's in your front row? Like, who would you go, before this movie starts, everybody, I'd like to think this person, and this person. And the only time I've ever been asked the question, who would I put in my front row? Here's the first one I would put in would be the HR guy from Home Depot. And here's why. In 2011, I had nothing to sell, nothing to appraise. I told my wife at the time I was going to work every day. The reality of it is I was going to a coffee shop to hang out with my buddy and talk sports. We did it all day long. He was a realtor, I was a realtor, and we were working. I had a degree. I'd been in the industry for 10 years, and I applied at Home Depot and didn't get the job. And now look what my life would have been like if I had have gotten that job. So I would put the HR guy who didn't give me the job, I'd put in the front row, and I would look him in the eye and go, I just want to say thank you because you didn't answer the call that day. So I'm not really sure my point to all this, but when you say, how did you get to where you're at? I've had that same, what am I going to do, man?
Exactly.
What am I going to do?
No, and that is a very powerful story.
I'm going to work. Sure you are. What'd you sell today? I'm nothing. What'd you sell last month? Nothing. What can you sell? Nothing.
Even if you were getting paid $30 an hour, right? What did you do at work? Let's go back to the same question. Yeah, you got paid $30, $40, $50, $100 an hour.
I worked all day doing that, whatever that is, right? And for me, it'd have been Home Depot. I mean, but that was just me trying to survive and me not to disappoint my wife at the time. And we had a 2-year-old child, right? So I guess my point is the only reason I asked that question is much like you said, well, how'd you get to where you're at, right? Tell me your success stories. It's not about my success story. It's about, I found a thing that hit my button. It was Home Depot, but I've also have other people I'd put in my front row. But a thing that hit my button that I went, that's the thing that's going to make me go to work. That's the thing that's going to make me go knock on the door at Phillips & Associates at the highest rise in Phoenix at the time and stand there and go, I will do appraisals for you for $200. Just give me a job. That's all I want. So in real estate, it's the same thing. I'm built to fail, but if I'm built to work and I understand what it's like to survive, how do I find that? Yeah.
I love it, brother. And we're going to have to bring you back to another couple of episodes.
We were only getting it going.
We're just barely getting going. And this could be a 4-hour series. But I definitely, I would like to have you at least, once a month for the next 2 or 3 episodes. Because I think I've identified so many subjects that we can talk about that would truly help people. And overall, yes, I'm a taker.
I love it.
It will help me. This conversation today has helped me a lot in different things that I got going on today.
Happy to help, man.
So,
I love you. I'm here for you in anything you ever need, man.
One of the things, brother, that for the way their economy is right now in business, in real estate, and even around surroundings, what is one piece of advice that you would give those business owners, real estate agents, or anybody that is having a challenging time right now?
Well, I'm so tired of the subject, but what are you using AI to do for you? Right? I don't want to make this the AI class, I can assure you, but when you have the futurists of Google come talk to you, your thought, the way that you understand it is completely different, right? If you're in real estate or anything, if I owned a business and I needed to go hire a CEO, right? What's that going to cost me? $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. Could cost me millions depending on if I'm publicly traded or not, right? People don't understand what an AI agent is. Not a real estate agent, an AI agent. An AI agent is basically someone that does tasks for me, right? And it's estimated that in the next 5 years, there will be 1 trillion agents on the planet that people are using. There's only, 3 billion people in the world. So that's saying, in essence, each person will have anywhere from 3 to 7 agents. If you are in business right now, or if you're in real estate right now, or in team ownership right now, what are you using AI to do your CEO tasks for you? Right? I'm not using AI. Now, the average real estate agent is using AI to write their descriptions and do emails. I wouldn't hire a CEO to do that, but I would hire a CEO to make calls for me and make ISA work.
Absolutely.
I would hire a CEO to do all my scheduling for me. I would hire a CEO to take my business to the next level. So am I using it as to its capabilities when what we know about its capabilities is today's the worst it will ever be? Mm-hmm. And it's better than it was yesterday. It's better than it was 6 months ago. So, yeah, I'm the guy that's old, that's been around a long time, that says, in an industry that fights change, real estate fights change.
Absolutely.
They hate change. Are you using AI? Are you hiring your CEO through AI? And if you are, you have a chance. If you're not, you will be put out of business by the ones who do. It's that simple.
We definitely need to dive in a little more.
Yeah.
And I will be sharing in my social media a couple of episodes. I'm going to go back and search for the one. I haven't heard the one with Google.
Yeah, with Dan, yeah.
Dan.
Dave Brown. Dave Brown.
Yep. So I'm going to go look for that episode. I'll share it, and I'll probably write a blog on it.
Appreciate it.
Based on what I hear. I love to always learn. And ladies and gentlemen, we would like to say thank to Lance. Thank you very much for being here
pleasure,
today.
Man.
You could have been anywhere else in the world.
My pleasure,
But
buddy.
you decided to be be here
It's like, where's
right now
Waldo?
today.
He's here. He's here on the
We
show.
found him.
We found Waldo.
It took some work.
That's awesome. No,
So
I look forward to coming back, and anytime you need me, I'm a buddy.
once you came in the door, you know we're not going to let you leave without something.
I know.
You know?
Yeah. I love it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here with us in this first episode. Right? First of a couple
Of
episodes with
multiples,
Lance, of
whatever we got.
multiple that we're going to have
Yeah.
to learn more about his business experience, about his knowledge, and about everything that he's figuring out even as today as he goes. And congratulations on the grand opening of Plato's class
Appreciate
for
it,
you
man.
and your
You
son.
were there. Thank you.
One of these episodes, I would like to dedicate a conversation with you about being a father and teaching business to your son, to your kid,
it's not
and
easy.
the journey of it.
It is, yeah. It's definitely that. I have run out of adjectives to describe it. Yeah.
100%. So thank you very much, everyone. This is Vos, and I approve this message.